Well, not that long ago, we celebrated Valentine's Day, and I'm sure during that time there were probably millions of boxes of chocolate sold here in the United States, and at the same time, probably hundreds of thousands, possibly even into the millions of people noticed that those boxes were not actually as full as they were led to believe. Recently, new class action lawsuits have been popping up saying that some candy manufacturers, including those with the most popular boxes of chocolates for Valentine's Day this year, they have been not filling the boxes, basically creating these void spaces in their products for no reason. Joining me now to talk about this is Scott Hardy from TopClassActions.com. Scott, this is an issue. You know, I think anybody who's ever opened one of those boxes of chocolates, you can't see from the outside. You see from, just the box itself. You open it up, not as many as you thought were in there, but you paid a very high price for this very large box, only to find out you may have as much as 50% of this void space. Tell us about this.
Yeah, it's, I like to go ahead and call it when you're opening that box of chocolate, you're going, oh my gosh, yes. And you just see that box full of disappointment when you have these chocolates and there's all of this empty space. You're like, that could be chocolate right there. That could be chocolate right there, right there. But instead it's just plastic and sadness. And so, I don't know if the attorneys in charge of this class action were thinking the same thing, but definitely the consumers are when people are opening these boxes of chocolates on Valentine's Day and, they're getting more plastic than they are chocolate. It's really sad, and it has gotten worse over the years. And I think as the manufacturers are trying to, of course, we've seen this in other slack fill cases, they give you a bigger box, make you think you're getting more. Instead of getting the small little heart-shaped box, which is actually chock full of candy, you get the bigger box, which is only slightly more full of candy. You think you're getting more, in fact, you're getting less. And these are pretty hard ones to actually win from the defendant's point of view, because they have to admit that they're trying to market a whole lot of emptiness, and that they are just trying to essentially blow smoke up their consumers' behinds to sell these chocolates. And the Nutella class action was, I think, also an interesting one here, because, of course, in the empty box class action, or the half-empty box class actions filed against Ghirardelli and Russell Stover, Nutella was also a hit, because they've got their yummy snacks that have the little pretzel sticks on one side, and the other side, on the picture, it looks like the other half is chock full of Nutella to go ahead and dip those sticks in. But when you actually open it up, there's only maybe not even half as much Nutella in there as the picture might represent or present to you. So you've got a couple of very, very popular sweets manufacturers that are wrapped up into what is essentially a slack fill class action. And we'll have to see how these ones shape up. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting with the Nutella one. I bought those, for my kids. We're in the grocery checkout aisle. They see those there. Like, okay, yeah, sure. And they do get excited. I mean, really, the kids are super excited. That's a lot of Nutella, it looks like, in there. But yeah, when you open it up, it's actually a small cup. And the bottom portion is just air. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even know about this till I was reading about this particular story. There are federal regulations that prevent companies from doing that. So this is, almost even against the law. They're breaking federal regulations by doing this. So this is a big deal. This is not, a frivolous issue. This is, people assume they're getting whatever that package is shaped as, but only to find out you open it up and the cup on the top is this big. Even the government itself has come out, issued these regulations, because they say that this is not being honest with American consumers. And at the end of the day, that's what all of this is about. Are these companies telling us the truth, or are they trying to pull a fast one on us? And a lot of times we find out, regardless of the company, they're typically trying to pull a fast one on us, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it caught me when I was in over the pond in Europe, and I opened a box of candy bars, and the box was literally only a quarter full of candy bars. And I went, man, in the U.S. this wouldn't happen. They would have gotten nailed by a class action about it. Yet still, we see in these class actions that, it's still happening to consumers. But thankfully here, as you mentioned, there is justice that can be found. And instead of just being disappointed that you've got a half-empty box, here you can actually file a lawsuit, get that company to fix it, and go about it in a legal fashion instead of allegedly misleading consumers and trying to get you to buy literally a whole lot of air.
Absolutely. There's lots of air around us. We don't need to go pay for it in our boxes of chocolates. If you need more information about this particular issue, you can follow the link in the description of this video. Head over to topclassactions.com. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly newsletter. Every Tuesday, get all of the information that consumers need to arm themselves with. Scott Hardy, topclassactions.com. Thank you very much for talking with us.
You're welcome. Thanks, Varun.